Yo, what up, friends? What are your World Series predictions? Who's your teams from the AL and the NL, and who is your winner of the World Series?
I know you ain't gonna pick your Braves because they got too many.
Hell no, bro. Hey, if I had to pick two teams out of the American League right now, man, that I think that could go the distance right now, I gotta go Toronto, man. Toronto has really transformed their whole organization. As I said earlier, bro, they were 20 games behind last year at the bottom of the barrel on the American League East. I think they've turned it around. I think they're doing really, really phenomenal. I gotta go probably Toronto. I'm gonna go Astros. Toronto and Astros, man. Toronto Astros. I'm gonna go Toronto Astros out of the American League, and then if I go National League at this point, man. I mean, the Phillies have always had a strong core, strong organization, strong, both sides of the ball. When I look at it, I got to go Phillies out of the East. Phillies and probably the Brewers, man.
All right, so you got Phillies and Brewers, and what was your AL pick?
I'm going Toronto Astros.
Toronto and Astros. Now, who is your World Series between those?
I'm gonna go Toronto, Philly.
Toronto and Philly. And who you got as your world champion for 2025, sir?
Straight Blue Jays, man. Canada. Canadians, I say, baby. Canadians, baby.
Oh, they partying in the 6th, boy. Okay.
Drake gonna be dancing in the streets.
Yeah. Jake, where you at? Hot take. Where you at, boy?
Oh man, he said the Blue Jays, which would be, hey, they loaded up a couple years ago for that reason, to be able to have a playoff team that could win that championship. And with the pitching staff that they have that's healthy now. And again, I mentioned this and I was laughed at on the trade deadline show a few weeks ago. Shane Bieber, if healthy and could return to even half of his Cy Young form, would really help them out. And if he does, the Blue Jays are going to be very, very hard to contend with. So that's Canteen Blue Jays over the Phillies in the World Series.
Yes.
Wildcard Mar, who you got?
Man, I'm just going to make it plain and simple. I got Detroit Tigers taking on Milwaukee Brewers. We're going to have a Midwest.
Ooh, the Brewers. What?
Yes, we're going to have a Midwest World Series. And
interesting.
Detroit takes it home.
Wow.
Championship for the city, besides the Pistons and, of course, Detroit shocking the WNBA before they were eviscerated. So not too many championships going on in that city, but the Tigers bring one home this year. They bring the World Series home. Yes, sir. And my MVP.
Yes. I was going to ask if you had one, but yes.
Yeah. I think he wins Cy Young and MVP. I'm going to go Scooble.
Ooh, Scooble on the dub.
On
the MVP and Cy Young. What about in the NL? Who you got? You got anybody in the NL? You don't have to.
No, NL.
You have an MVP or a Cy Young, whichever.
So Cy Young is going to be a man in Pittsburgh, Skaggs. Skeens. I'd be messing up his name.
You good?
Yeah.
Skaggs. I like Skaggs better. All the rest in peace. That was Tyler Skaggs who played for the Angels.
Yeah.
OD'd on that medicine they were giving him.
Yeah, and a whole bunch of people be getting arrested for that too. So Paul Skeens, that's my man right there in Pittsburgh. I know they're gonna look at the the run support and say, the win loss, blah. No, look at homie pitch. He's filthy. All right, he's filthy. He can only affect.
Yeah, he is.
He can only affect the scoreboard so much, and he can only affect the win-loss record so much. So, I think he still gets Cy Young just because it's kind of hard seeing other pitchers in the NL that are pitching filthier than him. MVP, I think they still gonna give it to Ohtani. I still think they give it to him. I know what he is. I know what he does. obviously, to my homeboy, Jersey boy MJ, if you ask him, he'll go on a whole tangent. But hey, he is good. All right. For whatever they ask him to do, I know he doesn't have the pitching appearances that I would per se to like for him to be quote unquote a dual threat player. But when he is in there, he's filthy. All right. And then when he's hitting, we know what his bat does. So obviously he don't do he doesn't play the field. And I understand why people would use that as a knock against him. And I kind of do too, if you're talking about all around baseball player. But whatever they ask him to do, he does it at an elite level. So yeah, I think he still gets it. He still gets the MVP.
Yeah, I mean, look, Jersey boy MJ, shout out, my brother. Appreciate you always coming through. Appreciate you having me on. Been good times. I cannot agree at all with his take on Ohtani. Yes, he may not play the field, but the only way you could be a more versatile and greater player is if you played the field, hit, and pitched, and no one does that. So until we see someone do all three of those, then right now he is the only one doing something of this nature to the elevated ability that no one else can do it at, being one of the top, if not best hitters in the league and one of the better pitchers in the league. So that's and I like him going off on it because it's funny, makes me laugh. But I just got to set the record straight. Ohtani is one of the best in the world. And it's not anything. They're not trying to hype him up. It's not anything it just is what it is.
Now,
Canteen. Go ahead.
To be fair, business-wise, it isn't a bad idea to market him. It's not a bad idea. I mean,
of course not.
When just the nation of Japan has a population so huge on themselves, and
sure.
They're going to follow him. Oh, you definitely market it. So I mean, you'd be stupid not to.
Of course, right? Yeah, you market the hell out of them, just like they do with the Spanish players to all the little Spanish countries.
Mm-hmm.
But that does not change the fact that he is still one of the best players on the planet, no matter what. And it's not overhyped. It's not inflated. It's not MLB giving up to him because they instituted stolen bases for him, which is wild that he even thinks that. And I know he's half joking, but still, we just got to set that straight now. Canteen, if you want to have Cy Youngs and MVPs, I can come back to you in a second. But since I have mine right here in front of me, I'm going to go. I did my trade deadline show with Jersey boy MJ a couple weeks ago. You'll go ahead and check that out at Ball and Buzz. That was a good show with the Lion, Reese Penn, and my brother Mike Wiebe. But anyways, I gave my picks then. I revised my halfway picks. And so I'm not going to change them now. At the beginning of the season, I picked your boy, Bobby Witt Jr., as my MVP. Now, I do realize that with Judge getting hurt, he actually has a little bit more of a chance. Does that mean that he's actually going to win the award? Probably not. If I'm only keeping it because I like to keep with what I go with at the beginning of the season, if possible. I think Kyle Raleigh will actually end up winning it, especially if he hits to 60 home runs, which I think that he will. The big dumper. We talked about him last night on your show, Mar. Mar likes to point out that he carries a big stick.
Hello, Paul.
That's great. So I'm staying with Bobby Witt Jr. because you never know. There's still a chance with Aaron Judge. Hurting and still not fully healthy, even though he's coming back to the lineup. For the Cy Young, I agree with you. Scooble all day. He was a Cy Young last year. He's going to be the Cy Young again this year. In the NL, I picked Juan Soto at the beginning of the season. Yes, it was a homer biased pick. I don't care. He has almost 30 home runs now. Almost 30 home runs on the season. Yeah. I am going to stick with it because you never know. If Ohtani, God forbid, was to get hurt or start faltering down the stretch, Juan Soto is on a heater right now and could overtake him. And again, if it's a modicum of a chance, I will stick with it. So I'm sticking with Juan. And then at Cy Young, I agree with you. I had it as a Schemes Wheeler toss-up, which it still really is. Technically, if you look at it, it's not like they're far apart at all. But
talking about Willie out in Philly.
Yeah, Zach Wheeler out in Philly. And you could throw Christopher Sanchez in there out of Philly too.
Mm.
But it just seems like Skeens consistently goes out and performs at a very high level. And like you mentioned, even though the run support is not there, a la Jacob deGrom in like 2015 or whatever, 16, whatever. Yeah, I've seen it plenty of times before. Happened to Zach Wheeler when he was with us. So anyways, I think Paul Skeens does sneak ahead of Wheeler to get the NL Cy Young there. And then finally, for my World Series picks at the beginning of the season, I had the Dodgers versus the I believe it was the Dodgers and Red Sox is what I had. I'm going to stick with it because I have no choice. But I also believe that, or I did believe earlier, because I have it written in my notes here from the Midway show we did a few weeks ago, that I also had, and this was before Aaron Judge got hurt, I had the Yankees and the Rangers as right there below the Red Sox. And this was before the Mets went into their slump. I had the Mets as right on the heels of the Dodgers. But now since the Mets have been in a huge slump, I'm sticking with the Dodgers and the Red Sox. And then my World Series winner at that point, I don't want to see the Dodgers win it again. That would be boring. So I'll go with the Red Sox pulling out a victory. I didn't actually have that pick. I thought I did. Red Sox over the Dodgers in the World Series.
That'd be interesting.
Good, yeah.
Two huge markets in baseball that would definitely bring some viewership.
Oh my goodness, that would be a very, very highly rated World Series.
World Series.
Oh.
Subscribe on YouTube at Ball and Buds for sports and entertainment live streams and videos. Boom.